Hi everyone, it's Naomi Kanaika. Today I want to talk to you about our inclusion journey and how we started with our home school, our neighborhood school. So we had in 2007, my sons were born, and then they were in daycare for a long time, and it was our neighborhood school daycare that they went to, and they were really good and accommodating, and it was really beautiful where I built up so many friends that I still keep in touch with the resource person at the daycare. So when my sons went to daycare in the neighborhood school, and the resource person was really helpful to help me fill up all the funding resources, all the community things that I can apply for my son. So she was really, really resourceful, and I still keep in touch with her. And that's one thing that I want to encourage you and tell you, to keep in touch with the people who have helped you along the way, and to be grateful for them, and to also remember them. So they came when my sons turned 18 last year for their birthday. The person who was the resource person at the daycare, remember, they were in daycare when they were like small, when they were like 2, 3, 4 years old, and she came to see them for their 18th birthday. And also she offered them, one of my sons loves to play piano, so she offered her piano free of charge, delivered and everything, and it's a really good Yamaha piano. So keep in touch with everyone. Be grateful and thankful for everyone. I remember every time I go to drop them to daycare and pick them up, I would talk with the people in the daycare, the staff, the supervisor, and the resource person, and they were really helpful. So at that stage, my sons at 2.5 years old, they were diagnosed with autism. So once they were diagnosed, we knew that we need to be proactive and do things. And so what we did was, we applied for Suris Place ABA program that was happening at Aisling Discoveries. So they had some interviews and they had some meetings, and they were qualified to attend the Aisling Discovery ABA program. So what happened was, I had to make a way to someone to pick them from daycare and take them to the ABA program at Aisling Discoveries in Scarborough, about 10-15 minutes away. So that time I was looking for someone who I can, because I was a full-time working mom, my husband was working full-time, so we didn't have anyone to babysit them or take them here and there. So what we did was, we went to respiteservices.com. That was a website we were able to hire support workers. So we interviewed some people. They've already done the police background check, so we got them information, and we found a young lady who was able to drop and pick them up, and she did for a few years, I think maybe half a year or something, and it didn't work out well. But then we found, we thought we're gonna advertise on our church bulletin board. So we advertised on the church bulletin board, and then we found a senior lady who did more than 10 years plus, taking them, dropping them to school, taking them for the ABA program and all that. So very reliable person I was able to find. So always, community is so important. You are never alone. You need the help of someone. You need the help of others, and they need the help of yours. So what happened was, I made lots of friends at the daycare, the teachers, the staff, the supervisor, the resource person, and all the parents. And we would celebrate their birthdays in the daycare. We would do everything to be thankful. Every Christmas, every year, we would be giving them a gift to say thank you for their service, for their help. Even the person who would be dropping and picking my sons from daycare to the ABA center, and then dropping back to the daycare. So all that happened, and the ABA program was a good program where they taught my sons social skills, they taught my sons communication, they taught my sons behavior, to support, help to reduce the behavior. So if I have two sons, so one is Jason and one is Daniel. So both of them had different, they are really young, amazing children, but at that time they had their challenges. So Jason was someone who is a runner, who is flopping, who had difficulty with communication. And Daniel was someone who's really smart, but he had a difficulty with communication. So at that time, we were able to find the ABA program was very resourceful. They were able to teach them. They did the PEX program. They come for communication. They did social skills. They did so much, and we made really good relationships there as well. And Aisling Discovery is still available if you are applying through Surrey's Place. And then it was the stage where it was time for them to go to school. So it is the junior kindergarten that we have to register for the school. So one thing we knew was they were in the Bonnet Trail, they were in the daycare there. So we thought we might as well register for their school in the neighborhood, the same close to the daycare. So we went and applied, and as soon as they heard that they have a diagnosis, they said, we have a diagnostic class, so we would allow your sons to come to this school if they are enrolled in the diagnostic class. So we didn't know better. So that is what I want to talk to you about, our inclusion story, because we didn't know better. We didn't have not heard about extended family at that time. So what happened was I registered them for the school in the junior kindergarten class, and it was the diagnostic class that they were in. So the teacher was lovely and staff was lovely, but they didn't have any social interaction with anyone. Thankfully, the daycare was a placed inclusion, so they had that friendships, but they truly didn't have much in the diagnostic class, where they went half a day to ABA and half a day there, and then after that they were discharged from the ABA program at Aislings, and they were full-time in the school. And at that time I realized that I need to register for all the organizations around, and one organization that I came across was called the Extended Family. This was an wonderful organization that impacted our life forever. So I was enrolled in that organization, and I got a coordinator, and finally I got a really wonderful coordinator that was so helpful in impacting me and encouraging me. So she was able to invite me for workshops to learn about inclusion, what are the rights of a parent to have a child in the regular class. So when I heard about it, I felt like it is overwhelming. How can I have two sons, and they have both needs. They have communication delay, they have so much education that they are behind. How can they be in a regular class when they were in a diagnostic class now? And I didn't want to offend anyone. I didn't know what were the rules. So little by little, I attended workshops. I was connected with other parents, and I was able to hear about their story, how they took them from their diagnostic classroom and tried the regular class, and how their communication grew, how they were able to go and do things better. So when I approached the school and told them about that I want to try, the diagnostic, without the diagnostic class, I want them to be full-time in the regular class. I did the smallest mistake, and that was to ask the secretary about it instead of asking the principal about it. When I asked the registration for them in the regular class, they quickly told me no, they are not eligible because they have a diagnosis, so they need to be in the diagnostic class. They need to be in an ABA class in the school system. So I was downtrodden, and then with our coordinator, we were looking for schools around. What are the other options that we can look? So we went to the Catholic School Board, and there too they rejected the regular class for my sons at that time. And then we went to a school that is a little bit further from our neighborhood, and when we approached that school, the principal offered for one of my sons the regular class and one of them the special need class, hoping and wanting for me to change my mind and put both of them in the special class. So when I approached the principal with my coordinator, he said that what a great special need class they have, and all the support they have, all the devices they have, all the technology that they have. They were boasting about all that and showing me and pushing me towards the special class. But because I really wanted one of them, I wanted both of them to be in the regular class, but I was afraid as well. And they knew that I wanted, they put one of them in the regular class and one in the special needs class. And that is when it changed everything. So always remember to go when you have an IPRC. IPRC is something that happens every year where they would look at your children and they would decide, should they be in the placement of regular class, should they be in the placement of special need class, should they be in a different school, and all these placements is decided at IPRC meeting. So most of the IPRC meetings, there will be a psychologist, there'll be the principal, there'll be another principal, there'll be support workers, there'll be EAs, there'll be teachers, there'll be the parent. So the parent has an option of taking someone with him. You can take your spouse, you can take a coordinator, you can take your spouse and coordinator. So one thing that I would really want you to do is when you go for an IPRC, never go alone. Never go with your spouse only, because we don't know the system, and to always take a coordinator. So when I was able to take my coordinator, they were afraid because they knew that there's someone in the room who knew what are the rules and what is right. So they were careful in telling me the truth. But when there was no one with me, then they would be bombarding me and saying, no, my other son who's in the regular class has to be in the special class. He cannot manage, we cannot have support, we don't have this, we don't have this. So it was so much pressure. So at one of the meetings where I attended by myself, I realized that they were pushing me for my son who was in the regular class to be in the special ed class. So at that time, they were saying all the negative things. And when they realized that I'm not budging, I'm not changing my mind, at that time, I didn't have my coordinator. That was the biggest mistake I made. And they said, you are a bad mother. We are going to call children aid on you. That was something that really shook my mind. How can they do that? This is the thing that I thought was best for my son, and I have a right to keep them in the regular class, and they are pushing me to call children aid on you, trying to scare me so that I will change my mind. And that changed my life forever after the meeting. So that meeting ended really badly, and I didn't say anything. I said, I will come back to you, and after that I called my support worker and I said, the meeting was really bad. I need you to come with me for another meeting. I don't know what to do. They are forcing me to change my son who's in the regular class to the special need class. And I have two sons, so the one twin who is in the special need class, I saw it, he's not progressing well. He constantly 94% of the time someone holding his hand, and he didn't have his independent, he didn't have social skills, his language is going behind, and his communication is not good, his education is behind. But the one who is in the regular class, even though there were challenges, he was improving in his education, his math, his language, his social skills, and his communication and his studies were going well. So I wanted that both for my sons, both the part for them to be in the regular class. So that changed forever. So what happened was, I talked with my coordinator and I asked, what should I do? What should I do? Because this school is not offering me the regular class for both of my sons. They are saying, even the one in the regular class, push him to the special need class. And I don't want that, because I've seen the increased progress. I see the improvement. And then my life changed forever. My coordinator and I discussed, and then we said, okay, this school is far away from your home as well. Let's try the neighborhood school. And I told her, I spoke to the secretary and she said we cannot because they were in the diagnostic class. But my coordinator said, no, let's go and talk to the principal and see what happens. So we made an appointment with the principal and we approached our neighborhood school. That is the time our life changed forever. We approached the principal, we told about our children, we had a positive introduction about them, and then we told about what we want, what is our vision for them to learn with their typical age children and to do well in their studies and to have the social skills and all that. So that went really well. The principal was understanding and wanting to give us an opportunity. We also told examples about them in the typical camp, summer camp at church, and how they are really doing well there, and all those examples of in the community that what they were doing. So with the positive introduction, they were able to get into the school, in the neighborhood school, both my sons in the regular class, and that changed our life forever. The friendships that they had grew in the class, in the regular class. They were both in two different regular classes, and both of them had friends. Both of them had their language increase, communication increase, their studies improved, their behaviors lessened. My son Jason, who was flopping on the ground, was running. His behaviors lessened, and my son Daniel, who was headbutting and having communication delays, all their behaviors little by little reduced. And I was a mother who prayed. I was a mother who God was involved in our life. So I kept on praying for them and doing my work, and they were improving. And by the time they graduated from their primary school in the neighborhood, they had prom dates. They went on a Kearney trip, overnight trip for 2 nights, and they had the best childhood experience ever in the neighborhood class, in with their friends. They still have those friends up to date, still they are friends with them. Those relationships lasted forever, and those people that I've met in that school improved, our relationships improved, and that was amazing opening for them. And because of that great opening, they were able to go to middle school that was close to them, neighborhood middle school. Some of the children who were going to the primary school, they were all going to the middle school. They were all transitioned together. So the first day I went to this new school to drop them to the middle school, they already had friends, they already knew them. So it was a successful middle school journey too. So that ends today's video today, just to tell you and encourage you that inclusion matters, and you and I need to take a step of faith and think of the future that is going to happen. So the moment you decide to take your sons from the segregated class to put them in the regular class, that was the best chapter for our family, for our life. Nobody's forcing you to do anything, but what was best for us at that time was to remove them from the diagnostic classroom, special ed classroom, and put them in the regular class. Because all life long, are they going to be in a segregated setting? No, they're going to be in a community of regular people, regular jobs, regular volunteer opportunities, regular environment. So what best way to teach them? That is to start early. Teach them early to be with typical environment, typical people, typical environment. And it doesn't only impact them, it impacts the others, the students who studied with them. They had softened hearts, they had kind hearts, they were very accommodating, they were really good friends. I remember when they had a show, they had a performance, when my sons were on the stage, Daniel was doing so well, the performance, but Jason was walking around and moving around, and I felt like, oh no. But then when it was ended, everyone cheered, and when they were coming down, and I said, Jason, why did you walk about? And one of his friends corrected me and said, no, Mom, he did well. He did his best. He did well. See the perspective, the way that she saw it, then I saw it. So my friends, my sisters and my brothers and my friends, encourage yourself to go through inclusion. Inclusion matters, and start early. Start in your neighborhood school. Look out for the neighborhood school. Go to the principal. Meet your principal. Don't go to the secretary or anybody else. Go to the principal and introduce your children in a positive way and get them in the regular class, because it changed our trajectory completely and our lives changed completely. Next video I will share more about those details, but today that is ending. I am waiting here for my daughter to finish her vocals, and here is my son Daniel. Say hi.
Hi.
And that is my son Jason. Jason, say hi.
Ah,
Hi. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful day. this is our inclusion story number 2. I hope you enjoyed it. Share and subscribe to the channel and encourage one another. Inclusion matters and it starts with you. Bye.